I had the privilege of meeting Katharine Graham at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. The event was, I was conducting my cello concerto with Yo-Yo Ma. And at the end of the concert, we were invited backstage to meet Kay Graham. And at that moment, she said to me, Mr. Williams, I enjoyed your concerto very much, even though I don't like contemporary music. So I took that to mean my music was not very contemporary. I think she meant it to be a compliment. When Stephen approached me about the film, we talked about Kay Graham and Ben Bradley and what the film might, what opportunities it might present for me. When I thought about it, I've never been in a newsroom, you know, where the clatter of 1,000 typewriters. In those days, I guess now no one's using them, it's all silent. But it must have been quite a noisy environment, really. Everybody running back and forth. So I thought, well, how are you going to get any music in a newsroom? And actually, there's quite a bit of music in the film, in the newsroom. Particularly the scene where we're waiting for the court decision on this question of publication of the Ellsberg papers. And one particular moment that I remember that I thought was very successful, actually, musically, when Justice Black gives his decision in favor of the newspapers to print, there's a moment of great exultation and celebration in the noisy newsroom with all the workers and so on. And the music becomes part of this whole moment of excitement and fulfillment for these people. Among other things, this film, The Post, has, to my eye and ear, perfect performance by Meryl Streep. There isn't a syllable, I don't think, or an eye gesture or a movement that isn't pretty much right on that character. So unified, so crystallized, so... And it does depict a woman's struggle in what was then, I suppose, very much in the press and so on, the government, very much a man's world. What a privilege to have Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep in a piece like this, to be able to contribute what music I could. I love doing it. I'm not an expert in electronic music, so much of which is very popular now and very, very effectively used in film. But there were a couple of sequences where this needed to be done. And I sort of researched with people I know who know how to do this much better than I. And we used a couple of scenes have very light computerized electronic effects, which are used in many people's hands very brilliantly. Probably most composers, the highlight of their lives is the moment when all their writing and scribbling done in a private setting and becomes that moment animates the music. It's, you know, we can only put dots on paper, but these fabulous musicians we have will then bring it to life and so on. The other thing is that I have worked with this orchestra for so many years. Stephen also, he has pictures of all of them. And some of the violinists were babies when we started. Now they have grandchildren, and they all, you know, all has been turned over, and we have a very mixed, mean average of age level in them. But it becomes a kind of very familial process of making music together. And it's like working with any great orchestra, whatever the repertoire is. It's a shared moment. You know, the music is really, by itself isn't anything. We have to have the composer, and then we have to have the orchestra or chorus, and then but then thirdly, we have to have the audience to be bring this whole thing, to make the thing that is music.